So it's a challenging time for most people, and in the speaking industry, it's a super challenging time because we're in the list of products or services that people kind of say, okay, maybe we don't need to have this right now, and so it all goes away. So it's a real tough time. In the midst of all this, someone has decided to do something which is crazy, next to impossible. Not just to write a bestseller, but to do this in a crazy, crazy short amount of time. And she has put it out there at a big risk to the world to see, can we do this? Hopefully we'll pass, and hopefully we'll make this a successful thing. She is my good friend and marketeer and speaker, Sonja Piontek. Hi, Sonja.
Hi, Joe. Lovely to be here with you. Thank you so much.
How are you doing in this time, by the way?
Challenging, obviously. I mean, my business is basically down to zero, but I've very consciously made a decision. I'm not going to let the situation out there trouble me too much. I'm not allowing this to just drag me down. I've got so much energy. I've got so many amazing, crazy ideas. And this project was one of those where I say, you know what? Let's just prove the world that with the right mindset, the impossible is possible, even during difficult times.
So the impossible, as you're talking about right now, that impossible thing is the writing of a book. Not just the writing of the book, but also then the publishing of the book, and then the marketing of the book, and then the selling of the book, to create a bestseller. But all of that, which usually, I mean, I can tell you, it usually takes months, sometimes years. You've decided to do that in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah, I've decided to do all that in 1 week, to create a bestseller in 1 week. I've been known to challenge the status quo and to challenge myself with things that others deem impossible. I actually thought this was an incredible way to actually show people that the mindset alone makes it possible for us to unlock potential and just do the most amazing things during these difficult times. And here I am, 1 week later. I've got... you can probably see that I'm a little bit exhausted, sleep deprived, but hey, I did it.
So what's in this book that you are releasing, the one that you've done over this past few days? I'm going to assume it took you a few days to write, and then the rest of the stuff that you had to do. You've been doing a lot of things to make the book possible as well. The topic is ULTRACREATIVITY. Tell us what's in the book.
So the book is called ULTRACREATIVITY, The Experiment, Creating Magic During Times Like COVID-19 and Its Aftermath. The book is obviously a little bit about this experiment as such, to show people, the readers, that you can do the impossible. But what I do in this book, I give away a lot of tools and insights that I normally cover during my keynote speeches. And it's all about things like, be aware of your strengths. Once you know what your strengths are, focus on your strengths. For me, and I nicely tie that back to that book project. So for me, it was, for example, I've been writing all my life. Writing comes easy. So that's something that I consider a strength. So obviously, when doing a challenge, I said, let me do something that for me is possible to do. Had I decided to develop an app, totally not my strength, I would have failed. So it's all about knowing your strengths and then focusing on them. Then one of the other points I cover is using your resources. I mean, obviously writing is one part, but then it comes to, in order to actually make it a bestseller, there's a whole machinery of things that needs to happen, thousands of different topics, like editing the book, creating the cover design, coming up with an online marketing strategy. And if you do this, again, use things that you're good at, where you know that you can succeed, but also do go back to your resources. For example, with the editing, I mean, we had absolutely no time in this whole process. I asked a very good friend of mine, Katie, from the United States. So once I had finished writing, it was dark, it was evening, I just sent it across to her. I went to bed the next morning as I got up. She had fully edited the book and found all the little typos and errors and all these little things. But that, in terms of using the resources wisely, she did that while I was asleep. So it's all about giving people very easy tools that they can easily relate to actually do the impossible. Talking about how to find the right determination. And I'm sharing a lot of samples that people can easily remember, that people can easily relate to really know, okay, this is what it actually takes to find the determination to, first of all, start it, but then pull through.
You know, what I really love about this idea is it takes what most people put into books, which is based on theory. A lot of people will say, this is what you could do, you can try this, and this may have happened in this. What's interesting about this particular book, it's a book about the book. It's a book about how the book is being made. And in the end, it's proof that the whole thing works anyway. And I'm just thinking about all the stuff that you're putting into the book. Just the two things you talked about there a while ago. That's a huge tip. If people were to just implement that, they would go so far. But that is only two of a much larger number of tips that you're putting into this book. So how many bits of instruction? How much is in this book?
So the book is 50 pages. Obviously, in this limited amount of time, you can't do 200 pages, but it's a very concise, highly inspirational, very nicely focused point on the book on the key points that Ultra Creativity is all about. I'm in the process of writing the full book of Ultra Creativity. This is sort of the best of Ultra Creativity, practically applied and super easy to relate to. So it's going to be one of those books where people just go, you know what? This little book actually is proof enough that these things do work, that these things do happen. And I've already had, just in that week of doing social media postings, engaging with people, I've had 4 people so far come back to me and say, you know what? Just to see how you went through this process has inspired me so much. I am going to sit down today, and one of them is going to start writing her book. Another one is going to start working on a huge project. And the other 2 is a business idea where they say, let's do it now. And that's the beauty of it. It's so practical. And sometimes it doesn't take a lot. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter of the right mindset. Let's just do it.
So the mission, if we're stating this clearly, is think of an idea for a book, write the book, publish the book. Well, if I edit the book, then publish the book, then put it out for sale, market the book, and have it all happen in 1 week. And the mission is to have a bestseller and also, of course, to inspire a bunch of people with the fact that you were able to create all this in this short time. Now, I think what's going to be amazing is hearing all that you've done, taking all the experience that you had over these years, using those resources and everything you've put together. You've put it together and made it available at what I think is just an incredible price.
So I consciously said don't want to make money with it. I will position it at $1. So in some countries, it's obviously a little bit more. In Europe, it's 99 cents. But let's say plus minus $1. It's not a tactical price. It's a price where I just want to say this book needs to be available to as many people as possible. I was on WhatsApp with a lovely helper that I used to have many years ago, and she's not making a lot of money. She bought it today, and she said, you know what? Thank you so much for the $1 pricing. I can actually afford it. And that, for me, is something I didn't want to give it away for free because that sort of devalues it a bit. I just wanted to say, you know what? Let's put a price tag on it so it has a price, but let's make it as accessible as possible for as many people as possible.
By the way, I think $1 is actually a much better price to pay than what you usually have to pay for, information products. Because what people usually give you for information products is they give you all the stuff, but they want your contacts and they want all your information. You're not doing any of this. This is just a one-way thing. You want to give it out there and for $1. And what I like about what's in the book is that just by using what's in the book, this is not just about money. It's not about just being able to generate money. This is about doing stuff. This is about getting things done. And that might take, it might be the opportunity you need to do something with your family, your relationships, things around the house, all those kinds of things. And there's something very powerful for you if you go ahead with that and you're part of this process that was successful. This becomes part of your programming, and as Sonja said, it's part of your mindset now, because you go like, I've seen this. This is possible. This happens. And she did it. Why can't I do it? And it can be one of the most powerful things. So this is why I'm supporting it, because, I want to see people doing stuff and going outside of what they normally thought they could, because they said it can't be done. And the best thing to challenge that is to show them something that can't be done that's been done.
Yes. So I'm a big believer in the theory of just banning the word cannot from our vocabulary. I have done it many years ago, and it is just the most beautiful, deliberating thing. It's okay to sometimes be hesitant and say, oh my God, this is going to be quite a challenge. It's totally fine. But just don't have that mindset of, ooh, can't be done. It can be done. Most things can be achieved.
Well, Sonja, I wish you all the best. You've called it an experiment. I call it a challenge. It is actually a challenge, not just for yourself. I think it's a challenge to everybody else as well. The bar is so low to make this work. Do it for yourself and do it for people around you. It is completely worth it.
Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you for supporting this initiative to just bring some more positive spirit into the world right now. We all need it.